how it is unique. Few things regarding it, plus what is SOC, SIEM, etc., what it is. We'll see these basics and get started with this. First of all is, instead of learning QRadar, we are going to see what is a SIEM platform. Okay, as simple as that. Let me open up my whiteboard. Yes. Any SIEM platform, what it does, if you have observed network, in network we have different set of devices. We have Windows servers, we have Linux servers, we have switch, we have firewall, we have routers, few things on cloud. An enterprise level has every sort of software, whatever is needed. If you take an example of Flipkart.com, an e-commerce giant, it has lots of servers for facilitating all of its operations. Now, Flipkart has to obey the law and duty of audits and compliance. They need to comply with the authority. Like if Flipkart is based out of India, they need to follow all the rules and regulations that are applicable to a particular region. If it is based out of USA or UK, any country, every country has its own laws and rules. Now, they need to monitor as a part of compliance, they need to monitor what they want to monitor. Each and every devices. What do we mean by each and every device? Flipkart is a very big giant. They have endpoints. Let's say Flipkart has 10,000 employees. So 10,000 employees would be having 10,000 devices, laptop, desktop. Flipkart is running web server, flipkart.com. Lots of things that would be part of servers, web server, database server. I'm writing short form, DB server. FTP server they may have. Different sort of technologies they have on the server side. It may be Linux, it may be Unix, it may be Windows, XYZ, IBM, AIX, etc. Point is, they have different server technologies. They may have email running on the cloud. Let's say they are using Office 365, completely cloud-based, Microsoft service they are using. They may be using OneDrive sort of things. They may be using SharePoint. They may be using Teams for calling and like messaging application for the enterprise one. All these things are part of the Flipkart. Few more things may add. They may have their own HRMS software. They may have their own CRM software, etc. Payment gateway servers, lots of things. Total comes, let's say 10,000 devices they have, total. Combining everything, endpoints, laptops, cloud, switches, firewalls, everything they had is around 10,000. Writing one more zero, sorry. Around 10,000 devices they have. Now, a challenge comes to monitor from threats. Threat, any sort of attack, incidents. They want to monitor if there are any configuration issue, or are there any active malware, or there are any sort of issues that can occur tomorrow as a part of something wrong activity or a malicious activity. So they want to monitor from a single console, you can consider. To monitor completely these end-to-end devices from a single console, they are going to use a platform called as SIEM platform. See, they may have EDR systems running on the desktop and laptops. They may have email security that is monitoring for all the emails. They may have cloud app security sort of things that monitors their OneDrive, SharePoint, etc. They may have few more secured systems implemented to monitor the servers, maybe database, etc., etc. Now every one is having a unique way. Like, for example, what the point I'm trying to make is every device is unique. You will be getting logs from, let's say, web application firewall. You may be getting logs from firewall directly, enterprise perimeter firewall. You may be getting logs from database activity monitoring sort of solution. You may be getting logs from privilege identity management. You may be getting logs from email security. Everyone, whatever is happening, would be connected to a single device. Now, everyone monitors themselves. Like web would be responsible for L7 attacks. Any attacks related to web application, it would be monitored. Firewall would be for L4, maybe the capacity is there, L3, L4 traffic. DAM only database queries. PIM for any access related things. You have email for all your email coming in and out, any phishing attacks, any spam, any spoofing email, all these things would be there here in the email security. Now, you want a solution that monitors end to end all of them in one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. You have different things that you want to monitor from only one device. That purpose is solved by SIEM. This is called as correlation from different sources. Like you may be getting a particular IP address. Let me take one of the abuse IP, malicious IP address. I have this IP address. Let's take this Chinese IP. This was reported around 2 minutes ago. Also, it was reported, this IP address. Now, this IP address is constantly getting communication or hits, can say hits, to your firewall. Now, you want to check whether any other thing, like what after the firewall. If you have observed the network after firewall, there may be a different web module, DMZ module, internal network module, different segments of networks are created in the corporate one. Now you are responsible to check where this firewall hits, after hitting the firewall, where it is trying to go, what it is trying to achieve. Now you may do one thing is you may go to one device, each device. For example, you may go to the web and see whether the particular IP that was found here to be malicious is there here or not. Any email coming from this IP address is there or not in the SPF record, source IP sort of things. It is observed or not. We will be checking those things properly. Now, if we don't have SIEM, imagine there was no SIEM. You need to go to each and every device to correlate every time. That is a very painful activity if your operation is very huge. Imagine daily you are getting 1000 IP address, different hits. You want to manually investigate how much resources, how much time, how much energy it would take to go and each and every device to check. Multiple portals you need to visit and manually correlate. So to avoid those, we have a situation called a SIEM. Now, what SIEM solves the problem? It says that, hey, web, you share the logs to me. Firewall, you also share to me. DAM, you also share to me. PIM, EDR, whatever technologies, devices that you want to integrate, all of them would be collecting and sharing the logs to the SIEM. SIEM would be collecting from all of them and store it within themselves. SIEM has a very good storage area where everything would be forwarded. Now, what happens? So if this IP from firewall hitted on web, and we also observed an EDR alert that's open up a network connection, malicious network connection was opened from the endpoint towards your, or from server towards your like CNC server. Attacker control server is called as CNC. So now we can directly search this IP address. Instead of going to one portal, we are going to directly search in the SIEM that source IP equals to this one. You can search source IP, or you can search any IP, or you can search source or destination IP equals to this. If there would be any, it would give you all the actual communication that is happening from this device. Either from this, it is going to this, because here you see the network connection opened up. First it tried, so first it was in the source IP. Then when the connection was opened, it became the destination IP. From my internal network, it is going to the attacker control server. That is a part of your destination IP now. So we can search this way, or you can search on any IP, or you can search on source IP. Everything is true, whatever you want to search. All this is possible very effectively. You can search because you have centralized correlation. Correlation means to correlate. If this, then this. We are doing a logical reasoning here. If this happens, it may indicate that it may try to do these things. If an attacker is trying to share a malicious commands, it may happen that a reverse shell has been executed. We need to manually see, go and check it out in the logs, in the device, wherever it is possible for us to have in-depth investigation. So that purpose solve the SIEM. SIEM full form we were discussing: security, information, and event management. SIEM is a combination of two products, SIM model and SEM model. Okay, so SIEM plus SEM, you can spell like that, becomes a SIEM completely. SIM plus SCM becomes a SIEM. Now, SIM is information management. SIM stands for security information management, the first one. And the second one is SCM. It is security event management. Security information management refers to all the centralized logging. We're collecting all the logs, all the telemetry you can consider that we require for centralized location. Now, this solves half of the problem. Like, we have a centralized mechanism where all the logs are saved properly. We can query up to 90 days or 120 days or 180 days based on the retention capabilities we have. So from today's date, last 60 days, you can search if you have centralized telemetry available, plus a retention should be there. We're going to see what is retention, how or what time period you want to save the data, till what time. Today is December. We want to have in audit that 3 months or the 90 days data we should be having in the live form. We should be able to query it inside the logs. So that is a part of your SIM model. Now, event management, all the things that is on the top of it, like you have reports, you have alerts, you have searching, that is part of the information management, you have offenses, incidents, sort of things. All these are part of event management. It helps you to correlate different things at the real time, and it gives you the monitoring. Now, some basics we have done. What is the SIEM, why it is responsible, each and every device would be connected. For connecting, they use different components. Before that, I would like to show you the UI of QRadar. So we are going to install in one of the device. I'm going to show you the complete end-to-end installation to one of the device. I have already installed it up. My VM is running. I'm going to log in. So this is how a SIEM system looks like. You have, for context, we are going to take QRadar as a learning one. You have dashboard, you have offense, log activity, network activity, assets, reports, and admin. Everything that you see in the real time are part of the log activity. Whatever you see, as of now, no logs are written. But if I try to log in, now see the logs are getting started up in the 11th December 2:57. Why it is 2:57? Because my system time on the right hand side, you can see, is 2:57. So it is taking this particular time. The time actually, like the region I belong to is 21:21. But this, when I install, it follows different time zones. So leave it, no worries in that. Now you have real time logs coming on. What do I mean by real time? For example, if I open my command prompt, or let me open a mobile system. I use mobile system for connecting to devices like Linux machines, etc. I have different machines up and running. I'm going to take a session to my QRadar. Now you see a user login log popped up. If I write a command here, hello, there should be a log saying that a command was found. A user executed a command. All this would be logged, whatever you are doing here. For example, if you want to filter it out, you go in the real time and add a filter, log source indexed. I have lots of log source I have created for myself. For the purpose of it, I'm going to take this particular log source of my QRadar itself, where I'm writing and executing certain things. So that logs are stored in the audit log. So SIEM audit is a log source. We are going to discuss all these details. I just want to show you in the real time. Make it real time. Now, anything that is coming from this device would be executed here. If I write here, hello networkings, enter. You see, in the real time, a log would be fetched up. What type of log it is? I'm just going to minimize this, pause this, and go inside this particular thing. This is called as a log. This is called as a raw log. My username I have obfuscated, so it is a log format, so you won't get who ran it. We need to deobfuscate for getting up the things properly readable. It is encrypted format. We'll see this later. But whatever I wrote, I have custom parser I have prepared to capture my commands. My command is here. If I go to return to event list, and again, if I make it real time, and if I write here, this is SOC demo, and make it enter. User logout also happened, plus user executed a command. I'm going to pause it up. There are maybe multiple sessions I am going. So we are interested in this event. Whatever we have wrote will be captured up. So logging is one of the case or use case of security. That's the same solution, logging. We discuss what is logging. Whatever we saw, logging is for logs. Logging is the process to collect and store the logs. Now, what is logs then? Logs are all the events or any activities that are happening. What type of things can happen to any device? Like user logged in, user failed to log on, user logged out, user executed a command, etc., etc. All the activity that happens onto the device are stored inside one of the place and then forwarded to the syslog server or a SIEM server for having end-to-end monitoring in place. Logs helps us to do that particular thing. All the logs in Windows we have, in Linux we have, everyone stores the logs. All the activities that are going onto this device or from this device or to this device, everything would be saved in one centralized location. From the logs, we create alerts. Alerts may be clubbed of multiple logs that, okay, multiple session denied, multiple password / SSH failure observed. User logged in from a new country. Now you create from the logs certain alerts. If this is happening from the logs, I cannot visit every time and search the logs. I cannot sit here and wait. Whenever this command is being executed, I should be getting an alert. No, I should be having some sort of automated way so that I am alerted whenever or notified whenever this types of command is being running. I need to set up a baseline in which I decide what has to be monitored, what is something suspicious or important that needs to be completely monitored by the team. If this is happening, we should be escalating to the relevant parties, maybe customer or maybe your L3 engineers or maybe your lead, whoever, XYZ, that is there. So you do some sort of alerting on the top of the logs. If there are multiple session denied for Flipkart, it may be if there are 100 denies in 1 minute, it should get an alert. For them, it may be these types of things that is meant to be suspicious. Maybe 20, 30 are normal for them. That this much is expected, no worries in that. But if it is going beyond 100, if it is going 102, 105, like that, the number beyond 100, it should be having an alert. User logged in from a new country, definitely. So daily you check or you have given a list that, okay, a following user, Michael.John is logging from every time USA. But suddenly we got an alert that he logged in from Vietnam. It may be suspicious, it may not be suspicious, depending on the visit. Let's say user is on business visit or on a vacation. We don't know. He tried to log in from an IP that is not normal for the organization. It logged in from another IP address that should be suspicious and be escalated. Now we escalated and we got. So from this is called as an alert. User logged in from a new country. And the alert becomes incident when it is found to be an escalation. An alert can be true positive / false positive. On a very broad category, these are the two things. Either it can be a true positive alert or it can be a false positive alert. If it is a true positive, you should go for the escalation. If it is a false positive, it should go for the tuning one. Now, tuning would be done by the SIEM team, or it may be via L3 team who take care of all the use cases. Why a tuning is required, whether it is something required to tune or it is something that is not triggering daily, but it was having some issues. Whatever it is, we need to find it out and escalate to a particular way to get this sorted. Root cause analysis we need to provide to the things. Now, true positive, false positive, something that we do. Today would be bit theory. From tomorrow, we are going to start with the lab sessions. First installation, post installation, followed by everything. I'll be going to give you the sample logs that you require for practice, for parsing, for integration, everything end to end. And we're going to take everything from. Before that, I want to have a baseline created so that everyone knows what are the terms we use. Yes. So true positive, we have 4 quadrants. Let me open Excel. So you have 4 things here. You can write here true, you can write here false, and you can write here positive, and you have negative. These 4 things you need to know completely. Okay. First of all, true and positive. This is a very good scenario or optimum scenario that we require. True and positive means first true positive. TP I'm going to write. True positive means attack happened and we detected it. Both the conditions are true. First is attack happened, we were able to detect. So this is a very good one. I'm writing plus here. Plus plus. Both of them are plus. We cannot write this way. Only plus we need to write. Second one is, so it is positive but false. Positive, inside the positive, you are going forward on the right hand side. False positive. So attack not happened. The first one is for attack. So this is a false condition. So not a negative condition. And we detected something. This is a not a good scenario. Scope of improvement we need to select here. Because attack is not happening, still we are detecting something. So if crime is not happening, then also we are catching the criminal, then something is wrong here. So this is false positive. This is plus plus, this is plus minus plus. Then comes negative and true. So TN, I'm going to write true negative. True means attack happened. The first is the positive scenario and we did not detect it. The third scenario that we have. And fourth is negative and false. Both of them are negative words. So I'm going to write FN, false negative. Attack did not happen. Did not happen. And we did not detect it. Both of them are false. This we need to know better. This is something you are doing very good. So optimum scenario is this. In the optimum results, we require this one. True positives. False positive means scope of improvement. You need to do tuning activity here. So that your false positive, from false positive, you try to become to the true positive. Third one is true negative. Attack happened, but we did not detect it. This is a very bad scenario. You are missing the detection here. You need to write more detection in order to carry out operations smoothly. This is the worst scenario. I'm going to highlight this inside some beautiful colors, maybe not this. Let's do this one. Light color. And the good one will make it yellow. The scope of improvement and this. This is not an our scope. No attack, no detection. That is also a good scenario. Yeah, okay. If nothing is happening, we cannot forcefully do something. So we need to make sure that we are doing here. Your use cases should be taking up the things inside your true positive area. And all your false positive should be reducing day by day. In organization, there may be 1000 alerts triggering. That may be total number of alerts. So your manager or everyone takes up total alerts are 1000. Then true positive alerts, you need to find it out. Okay, true positive are only 25 or only 100, let's say, for a very good one. So the percentage is 90% false positive or not required, 10% true positive. Now your goal should be to make sure that this 100 becomes more or the 1000 becomes less. Either of them would help you out to achieve SOC maturity program. That needs to be understood. So tuning activity we do for any false positive. In our day-to-day terms, either of these two conditions would be true. If we are missing it out, it should be coming from your CISO or the lead for regarding what we are missing in the detections. Detections are called as use cases, rules, correlations, different names. Detections are called as rules, or you can call as correlation, use cases, different terms, different way. Analytics, different way to write the same thing to be sure. We are going to write detections in our area to detect lots of attacks. If I show you my offenses, I have different types of detections should be running it. I have created few more detection for my. We're going to write some detection so that we have different types of alerts coming up, flopping up, all these things inside our area. So if we are going to see a lab, okay, before that, everything would be provided like QRadar OVA file would be there, mobile system to connect VMware virtual VMware workstation. These softwares you require for your creation of QRadar lab inside your devices. I'm going to show you in any one of the device, and the recording will be provided to you guys. So then you can check out into your, or you can practice with me when we are doing the installation. Plus sample logs for practice. A demo logs folder are there. 10 logs sources are there in that. That are more than enough for us to practice. These things will be provided alongside for your lab. So now, some more basics to be complete before we go for the question and answers for your. Now we understand the SIEM components. On a high level QRadar components, we have event collector. Now before that, we are learning QRadar. What is a QRadar? As of now, whatever we were checking was generic to any SIEM. There are lots of SIEM vendors. Like there is Alien Vault. You have Logarithm. You have ArcSight. You have Splunk. You have Sentinel. You have Chronicle, etc., etc. N number of Dennis is there. 200 SIEM vendors will be there. We are now going to learn QRadar. It's also one of the leader. So all the terms we are going to use with that respect to QRadar components or architecture we are going to discuss from the next session. In QRadar, major components that build up is event collection or event collector layer. You then have event processor. On the event side first, you then have console. You then have app host. You then have a data node. Similarly, you have flow collector, flow processor. You have agents to collect the logs. These are the normal any SIEM platform or any QRadar, you'll be finding these things properly. Few more small topics would be there, like you can add a QNI appliance, etc., that is coming from the IBM sort of things. But at least on an architecture point of view, these are the components that you should be aware of completely, that would be responsible for the day-to-day. Event collector, let's take a basic today. Collects the logs from the end devices and helps in normalization. We're going to see normalization later, so no need to worry about the definition at this point of time. It helps to establish correlation for the rules and storage. Console displays the information. And UI sort of things are all the part of your console UI that you see. App host, server, or you can say appliance, or a VM that is dedicated to run applications. QRadar has, IBM has a lot of application. IBM has App Exchange through which you can make a QRadar a super product. So if you want to run lots of applications on the top of your QRadar, you require something that is called as app host. Data node, this is responsible for faster searching and extra storage you require. You want to search things faster, like your analyst requires lots of search to be made on the day-to-day basis, and the current capacity is outside the scope. So you can add a data node on the top of your QRadar, and all the logs would be stored in the data. So extra storage would be there, plus in the data node it would be storing to make your search more efficient and faster. If you are making 1 week query, 3 weeks query, 1 month query, 6 months query, everything would be part of your data nodes. Similar to events, it collects the logs, it collects the flows. Main thing is to collector collects the flows from the network devices like firewall, like switch, like router. Three major things we have for collecting the flows. And once the flows are collected, we require a processor to process the flows for any abnormalities, any rules, use cases to be passed. All the flow rules that you wrote would be passed with this particular component of the QRadar to make it happen. And there are agents, like there's a WinCollect agent that helps to collect logs from the devices, specific to Windows devices. Linux syslog method is more useful, cloud API. So there are agents that is proprietary to IBM. That's why we have mentioned here. These are the normal components that we see from QRadar or IBM sort of things. We're going to take and stop the session here and appreciate all the questions that you guys have. And later we are going to start with full-fledged for our. Yeah, guys. Any questions? Anish, Arun, please.
Yes, sir. Can you explain about the normalization?
Now, because we have a session of normalization later, but let's on a high level we can do.
Oh.
So normalization is to make all the logs in a same manner. Okay. You have different logs. You have logs from Windows. You have logs from Cisco. You have logs from Fortinet. In QRadar, if you see, you go to the log activity. Again, you go to the log activity and you do add a filter. Now, you cannot search source IP of Cisco. No, you can search source IP here. Now, to make this useful, you need to normalize these things. Normalize to make it all the fields, anywhere the source IP, is it in Windows or is it in Cisco or is it in the Fortinet, everyone should be into one column itself. Windows may write, the logging format of Windows may be something like the source equals to 2.2.2.2. The Cisco writes like SOURCE underscore IP and at the fifth or sixth column in the log. And the same IP in the Cisco, it is like this. In Fortinet, it may be origin IP. At the end of the day, everything is same. But we require what? We require source IP here as the field to search. If source IP index equals to 2.2.2, if this IP is found wherever, irrespective of log source, it may be from Cisco, Fortinet, Windows, Palo Alto, anything, it would be sorted out and given to as a result to you. That is the process of your normalization. Okay. I hope your doubt is being more clear for the thing. We're going to practically do this, so no need to worry about it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
To normalize means to bring everything into one particular field. That helps us to sort it out manually when we are doing searching. So it may be source in Windows, it may be source IP in Cisco, it may be origin IP in Fortinet. But at the end of the day, you just put the value and solve your task. That is what it is expected. Yes. Any other doubts?
Sir, in our environment, we are collecting firewall logs in the EP event processor.
Okay.
So, yeah. So here we can in flow collector.
No, I didn't got the last line. Say it again.
Like, so you are saying like flow, firewall logs will be collected in flow collector, right, sir?
No, no, not logs, flows. Logs would be
Oh,
collected
flows.
by event collector only.
Okay, okay, okay.
Firewall
Okay, sir.
logs would be collected by event collector. Switch logs also, or router logs also. All the logs would be collected by collector. All the flows would be collected by flow collector. Event collector, flow collector.
So what will be the difference, sir, between the flows and logs?
So logs are the events that are happening. Flows are the actual communication. Like you and me are speaking. So in the logs, it would be like person A speaking to person B. But in the flows, it would be in depth, like how much session we took, how much data we transferred, what port we used, what application, how many packets were being shared. All these things would be in the flow. So what happened? Person A spoke to B, and in depth of what happened, it would be under the flows. This is like this. But generally, our task would be solved by the logs, but still, IBM also gives the flows to collect the network activity. So that helps us to get sorted. Okay. Like you share a file, the file would be, if it is a 1 GB file, if we cannot share 1 GB file, we need to drop it into, let's say, 1 MB of packets. 1 MB packets worth of 1024 MB would make it 1 GB file. Okay. So now this, in the logs, it would be file transferred, but in the flows, it would be giving you each and every minute details. So till layer 4, it can monitor the flows in the network activity. Apart from it, you have the first packet time source IP. It should be there some details here. I guess my flows has stopped sending the events. We need to troubleshoot and make it happen. Otherwise, it should be there. If I show you the last, yeah, it came starting it up. So SSH I have taken up, right? So in logs, it would be SSH session taken or user logged in. But here, the number of packets you take, that number of bytes and everything would be monitored. Clear?
Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. 1.10, it is going to my QRadar IP. from my device 1.2. So that needs to be. As of now, this is ongoing. So all the ping request, everything would be captured, the port number, everything. But in the logs, you won't find these things. In the logs, you will be only finding the time when I logged into this device. That's all. The session is open, so that would be pinging out, right? So if you try to reach every time, 443 is open. So it is going outside for my 443 port number for my UI. So 443 is also having clear. Yes. Yes. Any other questions you guys have? We are done for the day. We're going to start it up from practicals. So the system requirements at least is 16 GB of RAM. I'm just going to write it down again. At least 6, not completely, like 6 for Windows you require, 4 to 5 or 6 would be required for QRadar, and you need to require hard drive. Like the storage you require is 250 GB of space. These 3 things you require, and a stable internet connection for your, and a device with virtualization enabled. Okay, if not, you need to enable it up. I'm going to provide you VMware, so you have all these things to be practiced. This you require to bring it up from your end to practice along with me. Otherwise, you can see my video and that is how you learn. If you want to practice, these things is required. Okay, and that should be fine.
Sir, do we get lab access?
I'm not sure, so
I
you
have
can
a
check
laptop
that
or
management, that you can check with management to get details regarding how lab access is provided to you. Okay, so I'm going to teach you in my device. If management is providing you, you can check with them.
okay.
Okay, yes. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. 1 minute we have. Otherwise, we are going to wind up for the day and meet you later for the actual sessions. Today was basics. Once we are done, we are going to start with all the topics end to end.
Okay, sir. I'll connect tomorrow.
All right, guys, have a good evening. Bye. Take care. We'll connect same time tomorrow. Bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you.